All right, puppy, you gotta come out. You gotta come out. I'll give you a treat.
Oh, aren't you nice? Thank you. I'm good.
Oh, off to my meeting. So 3 o'clock, the people are coming? Yep. With mama.
Representative Martin, can you hear me? Tom? Can you hear me?
Looks like it's good.
Oh, there you are.
Hi,
Hi, I just sent you the link again, but you're already here, so.
I found it on my other phone, so I forwarded it to myself.
Oh, okay, very good.
Thanks.
Because you would have come on as May on that one.
God, we'd have two Darlenes.
You do? Oh, sometimes we have 3. Lucky you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish there were 3 of me.
Well, you do a good job just with the one of you. So there you go.
Well, thank you.
Bob Bryant will be unable to be here today. with
Okay.
us, So.
Hey,
I like the shirt. I'm talking to you, Reg.
a little bit of springtime, little bit of springtime.
I was kind of thinking, blue ocean waves, tropical.
Nice. It's 38 in Naples. It's time to start thinking spring.
Your microphone is horrible. You're breaking up.
Rich. How we doing, darling? We got most everybody here, you think?
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8.
8?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9.
9?
9. And Mike Perkins is on, but he's floating around somewhere. So that makes 10.
That makes 10. We know that Mark's not coming.
Yeah, that's 11.
And Dustin,
12.
12. And who's the other one?
Good question. Dustin, we got
Ben Shipman.
Ben. Yep,
Oh, Ben.
that's exactly who it is.
Nice.
Nice.
Thank you, John. That's a good job, Len.
Well, I have to look at my list. I have to look at the screen. I have 2 screens now.
We'll tell Senator Chipman the only one that knew he wasn't there was Representative Williams.
Williams, that'll make you
Because
feel-
we've been friends for 20 years.
They're like, Ben who?
Yeah. Really.
Well, last year I had 2 Bens, 2 Bettys, 2 Whites.
That's right.
This year I have 2 Martins.
Okay, I think we'll get started.
Okay.
You all set for me to start, Darlene?
Yeah, I already put us on live. So
Okay, very good. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Committee on Transportation. We have a work session this afternoon on actually 7 bills. And I would add, I want to say congratulations to you all. We are doing very, very well on going through our work. Some committees have had some issues they've had to deal with, and We've been really doing well. So thank you for putting in the time and making this thing go the way we like to have it go. It is, before we start, I'll remind everybody that this is, obviously, we're on a Zoom and it's, we're getting a lot better. We do have some problems, so if we do, hang with us. The meeting is live streamed on committees on our YouTube channel, and all participants via Zoom can be seen and heard when the mic is on, and speakers must be recognized before they speak. Meeting is also recorded and available on the committee's YouTube after the meeting is concluded. The work session is a time for the committee to talk about the bills that we've had public hearings on. It is not a public hearing. If a committee member wants to have somebody not on the committee contribute, they simply have to ask the chair, and the chair will obviously call that person up. So that's how we do it. We are really appreciative of everybody who has signed on today and be there in case we need them. I think I would like to introduce the members of the committee, or have them introduce themselves, and we'll start with Senator Farren. Good afternoon, Senator Farren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Brad Farren. I represent Senate District 3, which is the majority of Somerset County and the town of Rome and Kennebec County. And I'm just going to say that Senator Diamond is more of a statesman than I am. So what I heard him say was that this committee is kicking butt and there's jealousy among the rest of them because of the great work that we're doing with leadership and Darlene and Sam and Suzanne. So that's what I heard.
Well, aren't you nice? All right, here we are. We'll thank you for that, and we'll, Senator Chipman, I believe, is not here. We'll now go to Representative Wayne Perry. Good afternoon, Representative
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Senator. My name is Wayne Perry. I represent House District 10, which covers Arundel, Dayton, and most of Lyman.
Thank you, Wayne. Representative Lynn Williams, who was the only one that recognized Senator Chipman, wasn't here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. I am Lynn Williams. I represent House District 135, which is Bar Harbor, Lemoyne, and the town of Mount Desert.
Thank you, and we'll go to Representative Dustin White. Not here. Representative Mike Perkins.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. My name is Mike Perkins. I represent District number 77. That's Oakland and Sydney.
Thank you. Representative Mark Bryan is absent, and Representative Bruce White.
Hi, yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I represent Representative Bruce White here from Waterville, District 109. So thank you all.
Thank you, Bruce. Representative Tom Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name's Tom Martin. I represent House District 57, which is Green and Sabattis.
Thank you, sir. Representative Kevin O'Connell.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Kevin O'Connell, District 128, the majority of the city of Brewer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Representative Rich Sebra from Naples.
Good morning, Senator, or rather good afternoon. I'm Representative Rich Sebra. I represent District 68, the lovely towns on the western side of Sebago, Naples, Sebago, Baldwin, Cornish, and Parsonsfield.
Thank you, Rich. Representative and House Chair Danny Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, folks. My name is Danny Martin. I represent House 150, located in northern Aroostook County.
Thank you, sir. And my name is Bill Diamond. I represent Senate District 26. I live in Wyndham, and my town, 6 towns essentially circle Sebago Lake. We also want to recognize our analysts, Sam Prower and Karen Netto and Suzanne Voynick, and also our clerk, our mighty clerk, Darlene Simoneau. Thank you all. We will now go right to the first bill that we're going to hear this, or we're going to have a work session on this afternoon, and that will be LD 267, a resolve directing the Department of Transportation to erect and maintain markers to commemorate and recognize the Lafayette Trail, presented by Senator Deschambault at the time. So Sam, you want to take us into this?
Thank you, Senator Diamond. This resolve, as you all will remember, designates each portion of the Lafayette Trail for the purposes of the placement of suitable signs and markers by the Department of Transportation. Before I go too far forward, I just want to note this is a repeat bill before the Transportation Committee during the second regular session of the 129th legislature. It is a bill that was voted out of committee as ought to pass as amended, but it never received final action due to the shutdown. And I have looked at the draft we received this session compared to the amendment that was reported out last session. And as drafted, the current bill appears to represent the same language as that ought to pass as amended from the second regular of the 129th. And so there were testimony on the bill. There were the proponents were obviously the sponsor, Senator Deschambault. We also heard from Julian, sorry if I pronounced his last name wrong, Eicher, and Beverly Robbins. Of note, the sponsor had requested an amendment at the public hearing to add a few paragraphs to the 1824 TOR portion of the route, which is in the very first section of the bill, to include stops in the towns of Old Berwick, Kennebunk, Saco, and Biddeford. And Julian also had requested an amendment during the public hearing to change the language in the first paragraph of the bill to so that it says the signs and markers may rather than must bear the Lafayette Trail logo provided by the Lafayette Trail Incorporated. Also testifying on this bill was Maine DOT. They testified neither for nor against. I just want to note too from the public hearing that while we didn't receive preliminary fiscal information, or at least I didn't, Maine DOT indicated in their testimony that the route as proposed would cost an estimated $20,000 for the signs, poles, and staff hours required as drafted. And I believe that's all I have for you. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Sam.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to note there is an appropriations allocations in the bill for $10,700 for fiscal year 2021-2022. And that's the number that Maine DOT provided an updated number on during the public hearing.
I understand there may be, we probably need to make sure that that's still the number. It may have changed. So before we go too much further, we'll do that. But Representative Danny Martin has a question.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So the fiscal note is either 20 or 10 per year, correct, Sam? Is it 10 or 20?
I think it's different than both of those, maybe.
All right.
So we'll have this.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With that in mind, it's my understanding that the sponsor has an amendment.
That's what I want to get to. I think she might have some information for us.
Okay, that would be great to hear what her amendment is.
Yep. Thank you, Representative Martin. Senator Deschambault, we understand, we've heard that there may be some changes in those numbers at least, or there may be something else. Would you like to address the committee and share with us anything that's been new since the public hearing?
Great, thank you. And I have to say that I think Senator Farren is correct. We are jealous in criminal justice that you guys are ahead of us. We're still doing orientation. So thank you. Follow the bouncing ball. We did this a year ago and the cost that we were given was $10,000. Okay, we come back. And if you look at the original bill that you have before you, there were 18 different places to go to. I throw in an amendment of 4 places, which is then 22 places. And all of a sudden the costs went from 10,000 to 20,000. didn't seem to make sense. It came to my attention that some of you, I guess, did mention of the cost and the to the highway fund. In the last 72 hours, I've learned a lot about erecting signs, and these are directional signs. Sometimes I use the word markers. The Lafayette Trail will pay for markers to put on private property, like a home that he slept there or had a drink there. But what we're talking with DOT is directional signs. So to just keep going forward, to let you know, I spoke with Julian, and the more we discuss this, let me just tell you that I'm comparing ourselves to the other states that have done it. And I learned from Massachusetts. I know that's hard to say, but I did. Lafayette came from the border of New York, all through Massachusetts, into Boston, into Maine, New Hampshire and Maine. But Massachusetts, and you're gonna be happy with what I gotta tell you. You know, when you're going from New York to the Berkshires, it's almost a straight way, and that's exactly what it was. It was more cost friendly. Massachusetts has only put the sign so far from the border of New York through the Berkshires. And the reason for that is once you get into Boston and Charleston, you can well imagine, if any of you have driven through Boston, it would have been cost prohibitive. They're going to do it in the next 2 years. And that's why the costs went up. I've talked to Megan Russo. When the engineers of DOT, Maine DOT, looked at the this bill, and everything seemed pretty straight, except they go from Kittery to Berwick. But once you get into Portland, figure this out. That's where the cost is, you know, you go down Commercial, take a left on High Street, take a right to Congress, and that's the trail. It would have cost at least, hundreds of signs just for the Portland area. So what I am proposing for an amendment, and I did submit it to Megan to look at it. I went from 22 stops to 10. That's a reduction of, I think, almost 50%, 45% or so. So now the trail for me is from Kittery to to the main mall area. And that encompasses in the amendment. That reduces the costs, and Megan could confirm that. I just spoke to her in the past hour. The engineers predict that that may be about $7,800. So I feel like I want this to win. I think we've made concessions. As far as Portland, we will address that on the 131st when Senator Diamond and I are no longer here. So that's what I have to offer you, that we're still gonna have it. Massachusetts and New Hampshire does. And I would be remiss if I did not remind you that Maine and New Hampshire has the largest Franco-American population. So I am doing this for my ancestors.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you. That's very, very helpful. We appreciate that. Are there questions of Senator DeChambeau before we ask Megan to come forward and share some information? Yes, Senator Farren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Senator DeChambeau, I know how passionate you are about this, and you've put a lot of work into this. There's no doubt about it. And I want to be clear, the conversations that we had, are not about the worthiness of naming the trail or the piece. That we've done the history and brought the parties together, and we've all got an education level through this whole thing. It's more, my understanding is even with that number that you've gotten it down to, is that it is still highway funds, right, for the naming of a trail. And we've done that. I had Officer Eugene Cole up here that was murdered, right? And we had a road naming and a bridge naming, and it was, the minimal piece, so it didn't have that fiscal note along with it. I think we got a couple other bridge and route namings coming forward to us this session that don't have that burden on the taxpayers of the entire state to do the project. So what I'd ask you is there some way that we can pass this legislation with minimum markers beginning and end, and leave it up to the fundraisers to do the pieces in between? Could we pass it? It's got to go to the highway table. And this is kind of a question for Sam and Senator Diamond and Representative Martin. Pass it, knowing that it's got to go to the highway table and give you a chance to work on that fundraising piece, knowing that if it still has that fiscal note at that time, that then those of us that are opposed to the fiscal piece of it could vote against it. I just trying to find a way to keep it moving forward for you.
Thank you, Senator Farren. Great question. Senator DeChambeau, would you like to respond?
And yes, and I can appreciate your thoughts on that. When this first started, again, the distinction for me was we were asking DOT to do directional signs. When we mentioned markers, Megan, and this goes back last year, Megan said, well, the state's not going to pay to put a marker on a building saying that he slept there. Made sense. If you go to LafayetteTrail.org, or I'm not sure if it's .com, there is a place where people can donate. Now, remember, they're donating in all the states, and the money is used for what the states won't pay, which is put a marker on a building. I did ask Julian that question, and the money's tight. I didn't even go into what you were describing, but because I wanted him to say, maybe we could give $5,000 or something. And he says, those are already earmarked for the markers in other states. These are what people donated. So, and I'll let Megan answer the question. I think it's more than, it's cumbersome for the DOT to put a sign, let's say, in Kittery and another one in Wells, and we'll fill the in-between. That's not the way I would see the engineers do this. There's a lot of surveying going around, and the engineers, it's not something that a nonprofit agency can put together. Nor would I think the department or the state should do that. It's either go with it and respect the work that went into that, and the cost savings so far. So I would defer to Megan for the directional sign placements.
Thank you. Any other questions of Senator DeChambeau while we have her right here? All right, thank you. We'll ask Megan Russo if she would mind checking in, and I think we have some questions for you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well. How about you?
Doing very well. Thank you for being with us. Before we go to questions, would you, anything you heard what Senator DeChambeau said, anything you'd like to add to that or confirm?
Yep. So the bill that was submitted this session was a little bit different than the bill last session in that it came back to the table with a very outlined proposal. So it came with the exact route that Lafayette traveled. So, he traveled down Route 1 from Kittery down and went over to the Berwicks, and it kind of gave us all of our turns and where we would need to erect signs. So that's the reason for the increased fiscal note from last session, which we estimated to be around $10,000, to this year. And this bill, we actually had where he went. So that was the reason for the increase to $20,000. So after the public hearing, Senator DeChambeau reached out to me and, came up with the proposal of, well, why don't we, kind of break down his tour and try to keep it as minimal for this particular bill. And that was it. We were able to diminish the number needed needed number of signs from 100 to around 35. So when we sign trails, we have to do so in continuity. So we can't leave traffic stranded. So, you know, where there is a turn, we have to continue the trail out, you know, through that turn. So that's why you would think that we wouldn't need a large number of signs, but it does still end up being about 35, even a relatively straight shot with a jump out to the Berwicks. So breaking it down with the state traffic engineer and the region traffic engineer, that estimates out to be about $7,200 for that minimal needed number of signs.
Okay. Did you have something else you were adding to this? Did you want to say something else?
Nope,
Oh,
unless
okay,
folks
no,
have questions for me.
Yeah, we do. I thought you might have had something else you get ready to say. Representative Perry.
Yes, Megan, thank you. And it sounds like from Senator Shambo about coming back for more money next session, next legislature. And I mean, how much ongoing cost are there? Is this going to run into, we have a lot of people have trails and want to do stuff. How many trails are we going to put out? How many trails is DOT going to put up everywhere? I think in the public testimony, they talked about Lafayette being here 2 days. How many people were here for years and times? And I just see this, you know, no matter how good idea it might be for us at state level to be doing this, it sounds more like there should be pamphlets given to tourists and stuff or people that are interested in this to kind of follow it that way versus DOT spending money this year, spending money in the next legislature to expand it in some way, and for the ongoing upkeep of the signs and the posts and the everything else ongoing. I can just see this being a lot more than the initial 7,200.
Thank you, Representative Perry. Other questions from the committee? Megan, did you have any response to that before I go to Senator DeChambeau to respond?
So I would just say, you know, this committee does designate trails and bridges and roads in honor of, you know, in memory of Mainers and people that were significant to the state. So that isn't unusual for this committee. I mean, another option for you all to consider, there's two kind of pieces to this bill, is designating the trail, and then the trail directs DOT to take over the placement of the signs. I mean, you all can certainly designate the trail and leave us out of it if that were to be the will of the committee.
And by doing that, the trail would be designated, but there would be no signs necessarily. Right?
Correct.
Okay, good. Senator DeChambeau, you had your hand up.
Yes.
Like you were asking for a question.
Thank you very much. I just want to clarify something or correct Representative Perry. What you see originally right there on the bill, even though he was here for 2 years, I mean, he didn't have a sports car and come up. I mean, 2 years it took him to go from DC to Maine. Everything is in there, except we're not doing Portland. We won't be coming back. I'm just guessing. I mean, if this had passed last year, it would have passed. The whole kit and caboodle at 10,000. It probably would have cost the state more because we had an incorrect figure. However, this will never add. He didn't go to Skowhegan. He didn't go to Waterville. He stopped at Portland. You know, I'm asking you to just look at what we did and to recognize it up to at least the main mall area. And if in fact it does come back, Maybe not on the 131st or 132nd, but we sure as heck gonna come when we can probably have it passed, is just to focus on Portland. It can't add anymore. He didn't go anyplace after Portland. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, Senator DeChambeau. I have a quick question, though. Senator Farren had kind of laid out a little bit of a path that might be productive, and I want to see if that's something that you see as a possibility. That being that if this passed, do you think there would be an opportunity or a possibility between the time we passed it, where it was going to end up on the highway table once it finishes the legislative process in the House and the Senate, then it's going to come back and I'm going to put it on the table. Between that time, which will be when we act on that, it'll be probably sometime in June. Was that time a possibility where the funds, the 7,200, could be raised elsewhere, or is that something you'd rather not do?
I don't want to bank on that. I can't. First of all, I'm not Julian. This is his thing, and you know he's acting on behalf of doing this to honor a French citizen or what have you. But I really can't. You know, I wish I was committed enough to just write a check myself, but I think there's an obligation here somehow. And that's all I can say.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you very much. I just want to make sure the question was out there. Representative Williams has a question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just, as someone who lives in and represents a tourist community in Maine, I feel like I need to point out that this state spends a lot of money on promoting tourism, a lot. So when I hear the word $7,200, to me, in many ways, that's almost a drop in the bucket. And in my experience, and I used to be a tour guide in Bar Harbor, you know, a history tour guide, this investment in this will bring in way more money to this state, not only from the Franco community, which I come out of, but also from history buffs and visitors and, oh, we're in southern Maine, what can we do here without going to Portland? I like to think of these things as somewhat of an investment in the broader economy of the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Williams. I appreciate those comments. Representative White.
Yes, thank you, Senator Diamond. I just want to make sure, and I think it was said, but just to recognize that the good work that Senator DeChambeau did by getting that amount of money down, you know, to that $10,000 range, and I think that should be really recognized, and it really helps me to, you know that she's worked hard to realize that it's tough times, and so getting that down really makes a difference to me, and I'm fairly supportive of it because of that reason.
Thank you, Representative White. Representative Perry.
Yeah, I just want to follow up, and this is maybe for newer members and stuff. Every time that we spend money out of the highway fund, no matter what a wonderful cause, it's coming out of a road or bridge. So it's whatever. This sounds like a wonderful idea, but when we start spending money, it's coming out of a road or a bridge. So that's why I have problem with virtually any fiscal note on any bill. One of the first bills that I voted for in the 120, I voted against in the 125th was Speaker Nutting's bill because it had a cost, as I recall. So I have no problem voting, that way, no matter who's bringing the bills up. I mean, Senator DeChambeau is my senator, but I have a real issue with spending this money out of the highway fund. And yes, Department of Tourism spends a lot of money. I definitely think they should be giving out, the flyers for this trail, and the Lafayette group can put signs on buildings and stuff where he stayed. But once we start getting DOT involved, this is not just a one-time cost, because they will be required to maintain the signs and all that. So I'd have a real hard time supporting it because of that.
Thank you, Representative Perry. Representative Perkins.
Senator Diamond, thank you, sir. Just thinking, a few years ago, I worked on a bill that we had to name it. We didn't have to. We named the bridge after a young fellow. And it was about $4,200 had to be raised. So I went out and I started working it and doing that and didn't burden the taxpayers. And I'm going to second exactly what Representative Perry said. Same thing. It comes out of the highway fund. We got other bills coming at us that are going to talk about, such thing as inspections on cars. Our roads are in terrible shape. We need to take care of our bridges. We need to take care of our roads. In our great little town of Oakland here, we raised over $4,500 because we wanted a gazebo. So I think that even though it's only $7,500 is not a lot of money, but every $7,500 adds up. So I won't be supporting this bill. And with that being said, I'd like to make a motion ought not to pass.
A motion's made ought not to pass. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, thank you. Representative Martin. Danny Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple of questions to Sam. Sam, are you in possession of Senator DeChambeau's amendment?
Hi, Representative Martin. Yes, I have received it, and the only reason I hadn't distributed it yet is because I wasn't sure if she was going to present it to the committee. And
All right, but you are in possession of that. Now, for the record and to clarify, is the fiscal note 7,200 or 17,200?
Her proposed amendment, as I have it right now, just has language, so we don't have an official fiscal note on it. So I heard two different numbers during this work session. I heard, I think, around 7,800 from the sponsor, and I heard about 72 for Maine DOT. So it's, I don't know which one's correct, or maybe I misheard both.
So the bottom line, it is less than $10,000. I think we can all
so.
prove that. Mr. Chair, I'm going to be, I'm supportive of this piece of legislation in some form or fashion. And unfortunately, this will probably end up being a divided report, and I'll be voting against the motion that it ought not to pass, with the understanding that this is going to go to the highway fund, highway table, and the powers to be at that time, at the 11th hour of this current legislative session, we'll deal with that. If the money is available, fine. If it isn't, fine. But I'd like to see the bill move forward. So I will be voting against the motion ought not to pass.
Thank you, Representative Martin. Senator Farren.
Thank you, Senator Diamond. Again, just want to reiterate the fact that I think we named these trails and bridges and well intended all the way through. My issue is not with the naming of the trail or how we go about doing it, but even using, about tourism, that's not DOT's job. This is strictly directional signs that we've done with all of our other bills. And I hate to see that we have we set a precedent that when we have these naming bills that we start adding fiscal notes to them. This is the first time that I've seen a fiscal note like this on one of these naming bills. And I just don't like that precedent that's being set. I would support the bill if we were just naming the trail and leaving it to the people that have skin in the game. We talk about this all the time when we're talking about rail trails or others, about having the skin in the game to do that. In our authority, we could name the trail and leave the DOT out of it. I would support that all day long. But as long as there is a fiscal note, I'll be supporting the motion of ought not to pass.
Thank you, Senator. Other questions, comments, discussion before we have a motion ought not to pass, which has been duly seconded. Other comments, questions? Sam? Sam, did you have a question?
Yes, sorry. Thank you, Senator Diamond. I just wanted to mention there has been some discussion during this work session about the possibility of funds coming from elsewhere being raised between whatever vote happens today and the potential for this bill to be on the highway table. And I just wanted to note if that's something the committee decides you want to do, there should be language included in the bill to kind of like make it so the DOT can receive that money. Just wanted to put that out there.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Sam. That's a good note to have in case, depending on what happens here. Further discussion? Senator Chipman?
Yeah, I'd like to just say that I'll be not supporting the motion. I'll be supporting the bill along with others as well. I think it's a very, very small amount of money and for a good return. And I think we should support it in some fashion. So I'll be voting against the pending motion.
Thank you, Senator, and it's good to see you here today. Thank you. Further comments, questions? Seeing none, the motion is ought not to pass. It has been seconded. Darlene, you want to take us through?
You're muted, Darlene.
Oh, Darlene?
I'm coming.
Muted.
Here I know. I told everybody to unmute and I was still muted. Okay, Representative Perry,
Yes.
Representative Williams,
No.
Dustin White, not here. Senator Chipman,
No.
Senator Farren,
Yes.
Senator Diamond,
No.
Representative Danny Martin,
No.
Representative Perkins,
Yes.
Representative Mark Bryan. Oh, that's right. He's not here today. Representative Bruce White,
No.
Representative Tom Martin,
Yes.
Representative O'Connell,
No.
and Representative Seabra.
Rich.
Representative Seabra?
No, he's on the phone.
Yes, ought not to pass.
Oh, not to pass? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4, 5. 5 ought not to pass, 6 ought to pass as amended because it's a fiscal note.
Yep, the motion is was ought not to pass. Motion failed, 6-5. At the moment, we have 2 other people that will be voting. For the time being, the people in the majority report would be ought not to pass on that question. But the question I have is those in the minority, do you have anything other than just ought not to pass? Ought to pass? Who made the motion was Wayne. Representative Perry, would you just like to leave that?
No,
as-
the
It's
ought
the other
not
way
to
around.
pass was the minority report.
Right.
Right, exactly.
So your ought to pass,
Sorry,
your, right.
sorry.
It's your side that is going to do it.
Right. No, exactly. I just want to make, that's right. I had reversed that. Apologize for that. Okay, so that would have to be the ought to pass, which will be the motion of the winning motion of the bill, would have to be amended, as we said. So that would be the motion would have, the motion would have to be ought to pass as amended, and the minority report would be ought not to pass. Everybody else set with that?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just for the record, we probably ought to, the prevailing side probably ought to make a motion, ought to pass as amended.
Yes.
And so moved, Mr. Chair.
Motion is ought to pass as amended. Is there a second?
You don't have to do that. You
Well,
don't have to do another vote because you prevail, right?
Yeah, Danny, is that okay if we don't? We've essentially done it, but
Well, that's fine, but I think I disagree.
okay.
And I think Sam will explain why that motion is needed. Go ahead, Sam.
I
Sam,
believe
Sam, you want to comment?
Sorry, yeah, I believe Representative Martin's correct, because the motion was simply ought not to pass, and so that motion, as the vote is so far, failed. But if you want to do ought to pass as amended, now the vote would be for whatever the changes to the bill are. So that would have to be affirmed by a majority of the committee to pass.
Yes, even though we've done it indirectly, we probably should make it direct. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Representative Martin. Appreciate that. Motion is ought to pass as amended. Do we have a second?
No.
Okay, somebody want to second that ought to pass as amended?
I'll second that.
Motion is seconded by Representative White. We're now going to vote on the, any discussion? Seeing that, we're now going to vote on the motion ought to pass as amended.
Senator Diamond, what
Yeah.
is the ought to pass as amended version?
The amended version was as Sam pointed out to us. You want him to read it, go over it again?
He hasn't stated what the amendment is.
Well, he did, but all right, we can do it. Yeah, Sam, would you go tell us again about the amendment? Sorry.
So my understanding from the discussion is that the amendment is going to reflect what the sponsor had presented to the committee during this work session, which is to not include the Portland stops and thus reducing the fiscal note of the bill to somewhere around $7,800 to $7,200. And then I was unclear, does the committee also want included in that motion language to make it so DOT could receive funding from an outside source? Is that another, or are you leaving that out?
That was not included.
Okay.
Okay, so further discussions on ought to pass as amended. Representative Perry, you okay? That's good?
No, that's fine. It was just, that needed to be stated because there was a whole bunch of stuff that was talked about.
No, that's good. No point. I mean, I appreciate that. Okay, motion is ought to pass as amended, duly seconded. You've heard the amendment. All those, oh, Darlene, you want to take us through it? Sorry.
Yes, please.
I think we're in the committee room again, so.
I know. Representative Perry,
No.
Representative Williams,
Yes.
Senator Chipman,
Yes.
Senator Farren,
No.
Senator Diamond,
Yes.
Representative Danny Martin,
Yes.
Representative Perkins,
No.
Representative Bryant's not here, Representative Bruce White,
Yes.
Representative Tom Martin,
No.
Representative O'Connell,
Yes.
and Representative Seabra.
No.
Total?
6 in favor, 5 in opposition. Two
Motion
absent.
motion ought to pass as amended, passes 6 in favor, 5 in opposition. Thank you, everybody, for that. I know it took us a while, but
Sam's got a question.
it was well handled. Sam?
Thanks, Senator Diamond. As I normally ask when we have amendments, I just want to make sure I have the committee's okay to work with the sponsor and whoever else I may need to make sure the language comes out correctly.
That's routine procedure. Anybody, any questions or concerns
Chairman.
from the committee? Yes, Representative Perkins?
Sorry, sir. Dustin White is now on. She did not call him for his vote.
Okay.
He is.
Yes, he can vote for sure.
Yeah, hold on, I gotta find him first. Is he on camera? Because he needs to be on camera. Oh, there he is, hold on. He just moved on me. He's coming. Dustin, you need to turn your camera on.
Oh, hang on.
He's coming.
There we go.
Okay, so the motion was ought to pass as amended. The other is ought not to pass.
Ought not to pass.
Not to pass. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's interesting. Now we have a 6-6 total. And for everybody's understanding, how long does Representative Bryan have before he votes? I mean,
Yes.
what's his permission time?
He has till noon on Thursday,
Okay.
and he'll have to call the speaker's office.
Yep.
Unless
Okay.
he pops on.
Right, okay. Everybody understand where we're at with this? We really
Mr.
need either
Chairman?
side. Actually, the motion ought not to pass as amended fails at the moment, but there's still one vote to be had. Everybody understand that? Everybody okay with that?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Representative Seabrook.
since the motion failed, I make a motion ought not to pass.
Well, it hasn't failed yet, Representative Seabrook, because there's still one vote allowed to happen.
So the votes will be held open until Thursday?
The rules call for anyone who's not available during the time of the vote to have a chance to vote by the given time, and that's Thursday. Oh, it's Thursday noon, isn't it, Darlene?
Yes.
Thursday noon.
Was he present today?
No.
No.
No, he has a family health issue he had to deal with. Yep, Representative Seaver, you finished, or do you have anything else to say?
I was under the impression that the rule was that we got a chance to vote if we were present for the vote, if we were present on the day of the vote.
Yeah, he hasn't been present today, and he still has an opportunity to vote. He still has the time given via the rules to vote. Representative Martin, Danny Martin?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. If the committee feels more comfortable after Representative Bryan submits his vote on Tuesday, when we next meet, we could hold that bill and ensure that it's not released. So the committee will have an understanding of the input. At that time, probably maybe Sam will be able to have met with Senator DeChambeau and have an opportunity to explain the amendment.
Yes, but we're going to be meeting Thursday, and his deadline for voting is Thursday noon.
All right,
So
yeah,
I
so
think
Thursday would be
that'll
great.
all be settled while we're all together.
Exactly, great,
Yep,
thank you.
Yep, good, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Oh, Representative Bruce White, did you have a question?
Yes, just to clarify, so the allowance for somebody to vote after, or if they're not attending, that's no different than it has been in the past, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure my understanding was correct. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. We had a parliamentary lesson along the way. That was all good. Thank you for your discussion and for your time. We'll now go to LD 266, an act to create the Maine Lighthouse Trust registration plate. And that was presented by, again, Senator DeChambeau. Sam?
Thank you, Senator Diamond. As the title states, this bill creates the Maine Lighthouse Trust Special Registration Plate to support lighthouse restoration and preservation efforts. We only heard testimony at the public hearing from proponents of the bill, which included the sponsor, Senator DeChambeau, the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, the Maine Lighthouse Trust, the Maine Lighthouse Museum, the Lighthouse History Research Institute, Thomas R. Dutton, Russell Lowell, and Walter Fauske. I've noted in the testimony summary just some of the comments that were made in support of the plate. And I also noted from BMV's testimony in the final bullet point that this particular plate has met all the obligations within 29A, section 468, and has deposited the required $50,000 startup costs with the Secretary of State. As I noted for the previous bill, this bill is also a repeat of a bill that was before the Transportation Committee during the second regular session of the 129th. And that this bill was also voted out of committee, ought to pass, but never received final action due to the shutdown. And there is also, along with this bill, a preliminary fiscal impact statement, which everybody should have on the second page of their bill analysis.
Thank you, Sam. Questions of Sam? Yes, Representative Perry.
No, I'm all set.
Oh, I'm sorry, your hand was still up there.
Yeah.
Senator Farren.
I've got a
Thank you,
question.
Senator.
when you get a chance.
Senator Diamond. Thanks, Sam, for that analysis. And seeing as how the lengthy discussion we had on the previous bill with a good senator, I would like to make a motion of ought to pass.
Well, thank you very much, Senator Farren. The motion is made ought to pass. Is there-
Second.
Second, thank you very much. Seconded. Yeah, hold on. The motion's been made and seconded. Now discussion. Representative Seabury, is your hand up someplace I can't see?
Yeah, my hand's up, but I can't get the thing to open on the side for me to click on the thing to say my
Oh,
hand's up.
Can you just click on
What's going
participants
on?
at the bottom of the screen?
It's not letting me do it. I don't know
Oh,
why.
okay. All right, well, we'll be sure to come to you then.
So they got the 50 grand that they need to do it. How many pre-sold plates are there? Or did they just sort of all chip in their money and come up with 50 grand to get the plate?
So your question is, where did the money come from?
Yeah, where's the money from?
Sam, if you don't have that we'll ask the sponsor to share that with us.
I also know that Steve Ashcroft from Bureau of Motor Vehicles is on, and he could probably answer that question for you as well.
Let's go to him then. Mr. Ashcroft, would you mind joining us? The question was, where did the 50,000 come from?
So thank you, Senator. Good afternoon, members of the Transportation Committee. The $50,000 comes from the pre-sales orders from the 2,000 signatures gathered by the sponsor. So, the $25 per plate times the 2,000 signatures, and that's where the $50,000 comes from. And we have had that since 2019, I believe January of 2019.
Thank you, Mr. Ashcroft. Representative Seabury.
Thank you. Yep, that's what I needed. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Other questions from the committee? Seeing none, the motion is ought to pass. It's been duly seconded. Darlene?
Okay, got a couple members that need to get on screen.
Okay.
Representative Perry? And unmute.
Yes.
Yes. Representative Williams?
Yes.
And Representative Dustin White?
No.
Senator Chipman?
Yes.
Senator Farren?
Yes.
Senator Diamond?
Yes.
Representative Danny Martin?
Yes.
Representative Perkins?
Yes.
Representative Mark Bryan is absent. Representative Bruce White?
Yes.
Representative Tom Martin? Representative O'Connell?
Yes.
And Representative Seabrook?
No.
Okay. I'm assuming you're going on not to pass on the two?
Yeah, I'd go on not to pass.
I will be as well.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 in favor and 2 in opposition.
9 in favor and 2 in opposition. The motion ought to pass. Passes. Thank you for that. We appreciate everybody. Sam, did you have something?
Thanks, Senator Diamond. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, I think I got this correct, but the minority report is just a straight ought not to pass. Is
Let's
that
confirm,
that's correct?
that with, yep, Representative Seaver said yes, and Representative.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, very good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Okay. Next bill we're going to look at is LD 312, an act to extend the use of Maine bicentennial registration plates through 2021. Sponsored by Senator Claxton, of Androscoggin. Sam?
All right. So as the title suggests, this bill allows the sale, distribution, and display of a commemorative vehicle registration plate celebrating the state's bicentennial until December 31st, 2021. Just a couple things. One thing that was not noted in the bill summary is one that this bill is an emergency. So it would require 2/3 affirmative vote of all the elected members to pass when it's on, finally on the floor, and it would be effective immediately upon passage. And there's also in section 5 of the bill, this bill actually would apply retroactively to December 31st, 2020, which I believe was the original ending date for these license plates.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah, go ahead. You had something else?
Yes. During the public hearing, the sponsor provided testimony saying that extending the use of the plates through 2021 would allow people to celebrate the state's 200th birthday in a way that wasn't possible during the previous year. And the sponsor noted that he supports the amendment that was proposed that was offered by the Bureau of Motor Vehicles at the public hearing. The Bureau of Motor Vehicles testified neither for nor against the bill, and they proposed an amendment as kind of summarized in the testimony block. Basically they had explained that language in the bill articulates that the expiration currently must be printed on the registration plate. But as the Bureau looked into extending the display of the plate through the end of the calendar year, a problem arose with with over 5,000 plates that were already on people's vehicles and 500 plates that were sitting in stock that were already displaying the 2020 expiration date. So the Bureau offered the solution of just striking from the bill the requirement that the expiration date be printed on the plate, and potentially adding a statement about allowing previously issued plates to display the old expiration date. And that is almost all I have for you, except I did note on the second page of your testimony, of your bill analysis rather, numbers that were offered by Steve Ashcroft at BMV regarding the sale of the bicentennial plates. So that looks like this. Oh, that's not going to work.
Okay.
It's on the second page of your document.
Thank you for that, Sam. I can give you a little background as the chair of the Bicentennial Commission. A couple of things that I'd like to have you know. One is our commission ran out to be a commission on the 31st of December 2020, as did the plates. And the reason for this bill is we couldn't really, all the events that were planned, we really couldn't have the events take place, obviously because of COVID. So the commission met and decided we didn't want to give up on the celebration of the 200th anniversary. So we went on with the 200+1, and the excitement is still there. The other piece of this is that we've had a lot of private contributions to this cause, which will fund all these events, tall ships, parades, and all that sort of thing, which we're hoping will be able to take place late summer, early fall. And so as a result of that, we actually wanted to push forward and didn't obviously want to stop the process, and the private funds that have all been contributed, and hopefully that'll still all be able to take place. So with this bill, which allows for the plate to be extended, we also would like to have the commission itself extended so that we can finish up the planning, implement the events. We've also given out over $600,000, almost $700,000 in community grants, and the communities would looking forward to having their grants put in a place this summer, fall, so they can have their own individual celebrations as they choose. It's all their choice. So it's a big deal. It's a big event, but so this is kind of like it's housekeeping in a way, and that we want to be able to continue on and follow through on all the planning that's taken place. We spent 2 years in the planning, and so this is something that really now coming to fruition. So that's the purpose for this bill. And I also wanted to present we have another bill that Mark Bryan has that would actually extend the commission, but we could do them all at once. I talked with Mark about that today, and he's okay with that. So that's the situation. Questions, Representative Perry?
Yeah, just real quick. Mr. Ashcroft, you mentioned something and I couldn't find it. I was just looking for it, but in your testimony, you talked about something about having to order additional film and not using the expiration plate film that you have currently. And why couldn't we just use that up and before we do anything else?
Mr. Ashcroft, Representative Perry has posed a question. Would you mind answering that?
Sure. I mentioned that we still had stock on hand, made up plates, if you will, in stock to make about 400 more plates, I think it was. And we didn't want to have to, if this goes another year, be restricted to putting the expiration on it in case something else happened. But I think we've got enough to make it through this year with the stock that we have. And the part about, just to recap, the part about scratching, having it on the plate, we just wanted to ensure there was no misunderstanding with law enforcement about the authorization of that plate, when that plate expired, and the authorization to actually display it. So that's really was the impetus for this.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I don't think that's an issue. I think we can send a letter to state police and let them know what we've done. So
And I've already talked to Lieutenant Scott about that in the type that we would put out regarding that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Chipman.
I'm wondering about the plates that I've been seeing, and maybe many of you have seen on the front of cars for the bicentennial. Is that the same plate we're talking about, and are those plates not legal, or are we just extending those for another year?
Those are the plates, Senator Chipman, and they are legal. We got part of the executive order granted them time, so we give the legislature time to act on the bill to carry it through for the full year.
Okay, so the executive order made those plates legal, and we're just extending that
Just
now.
for the duration, yes, yep.
And then after this extension ends, they'll have to take them off their cars. They won't be able to keep them on.
No, after we pass this legislation allows for those plates to be valid on the front of vehicles for the remainder of 21, and it allows the commission to continue to plan and function through 21.
But then starting in 22, they'll have to take those off and put the regular plate back on the car.
December 31st, they have to come off.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep. Other questions? Representative Danny Martin?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm supporting of this concept here, including the language that's going to be in the language that is in Representative Bryan's bill that'll be included in the amendment. I'm assuming since the Bureau of Motor Vehicles testified neither for nor against, that they would have no objection, including the amended version.
Question from Representative Martin to Mr. Ashcroft.
We would not.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Representative Perry, is your hand still up, or do you have a new question?
Yes. No, I just was going to make a motion to pass as amended.
Motion is made by Representative Perry, ought to pass as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, thank you. Discussion, further questions? Sam?
Thanks, Senator Diamond. I just want to be clear on what the amendment is in the motion. Is the amendment to include the language as recommended by the Bureau of Motor Vehicles?
The amendment includes that, but the amendment adds to it the commission's extension through.
Everything Senator Diamond said.
Okay, so it's also the extension of the commission. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Further questions? Motion is made, ought to pass as amended. All those in favor, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm still in committee room. Darlene?
Representative Perry,
Yes.
Representative Williams,
Yes.
And Representative White needs to turn his mic on, his camera on. I'll come back to him. Senator Chipman,
Yes.
Senator Farren,
Yes.
Senator Diamond,
Yes.
Representative Danny Martin,
Yes.
Representative Perkins,
Yes.
Representative Bryan is absent. Representative White, Bruce,
Yes.
Representative Tom Martin. Can't hear you. Is that a yes or a no?
Yes.
Yes. Representative O'Connell
Yes.
and Representative Seabrook
Yep.
and Representative Dustin White.
No.
Nope. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 in favor, 1 against, and 1 absent.
Thank you very much.
And
Yep, go ahead. Sorry.
before we move on, because Representative Tom Martin is back on the lighthouse plate, that the motion on that was ought to pass as amended, and 1 ought not to pass.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, thank you. All right, now we can move on.
Okay, well, this is ought to pass as amended 11-1, yes? Is that what you, did I get those numbers?
11-2.
11-2, sorry. 11-2?
No,
No,
10-2.
what about
10-2, I can't count.
No, I'm talking about the one we just did.
Oh, the one for, with
Bicentennial.
Representative Martin?
No, bicentennial,
Oh, bicentennial. Yeah, that's
11-1.
11-1.
Thank you. Okay, we'll now go to LD 79. LD 79 is an act to establish a honeybee special registration plate, presented by Representative Lightfoot of Eddington. Sam?
Thank you, Senator Diamond. This bill is a concept draft pursuant to Joint Rule 208, and it proposes to create the honeybee special registration plate. And as part of the concept, the proceeds from the special registration plate will be administered by to the state. I think it's Apiaris. It's the state beekeeper to support research and beekeeping assistance efforts. At the public hearing, the proponents of the bill were the sponsor, Representative Lyford, and the Wild Blueberry Commission of Maine, who noted that as pollinators, bees are important to Maine agricultural industries, such as wild blueberries, and that the proceeds could be used to fund a discretionary spending account to better support the valuable work of the state beekeeper who provides Maine's beekeepers with reliable, accurate information and manages and monitors the influx of hives in the spring. Opponents to the bill at the public hearing were the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, who noted that Maine currently has 63 different registration plates and that managing an ever-growing number of approved plates and requests for new plates has become an expanding task for the staff of the Bureau, their municipal partners, and the manufacturing. They noted that there's a process in statute by which new specialty plates are reviewed, authorized, and enacted, and that this plate would be of the type that would be approved under that process, and that I think they were advocating that this plate go through that process because it has not. And they also gave a general estimate that to create a new plate is roughly $42,000 for about 4,800 plates, which does not include the BMV staff time spent, the vendor expenses, the plate expenses, and the shop personnel and municipal partners. They said that the startup cost of the plate will be borne by the Bureau and not the sponsor, as with specialty plates following the established process. We don't have, I don't really have anything to say about the bill draft because it's a concept draft and it doesn't currently have language.
Thank you, Sam. Are there questions from the committee? Representative Perry?
Yeah, thank you, Senator Diamond. As Sam said, this hasn't gone through the whole process, and I think there's 2 different classifications, so this doesn't really have to, but I believe they all should have to. I also believe that this is something that down the road, the committee really needs to look at. on all these plates. I don't know if we've made it too easy to get plates done up, but I really think it's something we need to look at. So I will make the motion ought not to pass on this bill.
Motion is
Second.
made. Motion is made, ought not to pass. Was that a second, Representative Seabra?
Second.
Got it. Discussion. Representative Danny Martin.
Mr. Chair, I don't have my hand up.
Okay, you came up on mine, so I don't know what happened with that. Senator Farren.
Yeah, just real quick, I think there is a process, and I think through this, we saw, first of all, a concept draft and not having the process. And it is a larger issue. I think those of us on the Transportation Committee that have seen these bills come forward, and I think we heard 63 different specialty plates and some other things that it's probably something that we need as a committee need to take a look at some point and have a discussion. So obviously be seconding the ought not to pass. Supporting the ought not to pass.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Representative Perkins.
Very much what Senator Farren said, but also we got to look at these little town offices. Some of them don't have enough room for the stuff they are handling now with 63 different plates, and add another one on. And I think it was Mr. Ashcroft said it cost a mere $43,000 for a new plate. And that's just a cost that we can't take on right now.
Thank you, Representative Perkins. Representative Williams.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. It was conveyed to me by my town office here in Bar Harbor that exactly what the previous speaker said, that this has become a burden to them, and we really need to look at it. I know I voted in support of the lighthouse plate, but I am also supportive of really looking at this whole system. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Williams. And I'll second that. That whole system needs to be looked at for sure. There's a lot going on there now that have transitioned from what the original intent was. So I think that's something this committee will be looking at sometime during this session. Thank you all. Any other further questions? Seeing none. Darlene?
Okay, everybody get back on your video. Representative Perry,
Yes.
Representative Williams,
Can you repeat? Can
Yes.
someone repeat the?
The motion is ought not to pass and was duly seconded.
Yes.
Representative Justin White,
Yes.
Senator Chipman,
Yes.
Senator Farren,
Yes.
Senator Diamond,
Yes.
Representative Danny Martin,
Yes.
Representative Mike Perkins. Representative Mark Bryan is absent. Representative Bruce White,
Yes.
Representative Tom Martin,
Yes.
Representative O'Connell,
Yes.
and Representative Seabra.
Yes.
12 in favor, 1 absent.
Thank you. The motion ought not to pass prevails. We'll now go to the next bill we're going to work, LD 258, an act to expand eligibility for special emergency medical services registration plates to ambulance operators, presented by Representative McDonald of Stonington. Sam?
Okay, as the title suggests, this bill would expand the eligibility for a special emergency medical service registration plate to include ambulance operators. At the public hearing, the sponsor testified in favor of the bill and noted that ambulance drivers are currently the only ones are currently only eligible for EMS special plates if they are also trained as emergency medical technicians, that the purpose of the emergency medical services registration plates is to easily identify emergency medical services personnel when they arrive on the scene or are traveling to an ambulance bay during an emergency situation, and noted that it would be desirable for ambulance drivers to be identified this way. This especially matters in rural or island communities given their small size, in that an ambulance driver may arrive on the scene of an emergency in their personal vehicle rather than in an ambulance, and it would be wise to quickly recognize that he or she is responding to help. In opposition to the bill, the Maine Fire Chiefs Association testified that this would allow an unlicensed person, such as an ambulance driver, to be able to get an AMT license plate. That this could cause confusion for a patient or their family if they were to call for an ambulance and that person drove directly to the scene in their own vehicle. Testifying neither for nor against the bill was the Bureau of Motor Vehicles and Maine EMS. In their testimony, Maine EMS requested that this bill be tabled until other legislation is heard regarding adding these individuals as licensed persons under Title 32, Chapter 2B, and that this change would also allow emergency medical dispatchers to have access to these plates. In the alternative, Maine EMS would request that the committee at least amend the bill so only those who have driving an ambulance as part of their job duties are eligible for the plate. And BMV noted in their testimony that if expanded eligibility for these plates results in the Bureau needing to issue more than 200 new sets, the production for those plates would cost around $7,000 and make around 700 to 800 sets of new plates. Currently, in Maine law, so this is moving away from testimony, only an emergency medical services person licensed under Title 32 whose status is certified by the Director of Maine Emergency Medical Services may be issued a set of special emergency medical services registration plates, and that that law defines emergency medical services person as any person who routinely provides emergency medical treatment to the sick or injured. And the key to that being, I think also that they have to be licensed. I noted about this bill that as written, it expands eligibility for special emergency medical services registration plates to an operator of an ambulance. And that is licensed under Title 32, but I think it's actually the ambulance that's licensed under Title 32 as currently written, not the operator. This language is broad and could include those who are authorized to drive an ambulance, but who have not completed emergency vehicle operator training. And also at the public hearing, both the sponsor and Maine EMS commented that another bill is coming that would license ambulance operators under Title 32 and recommended amending the bill to specify that only licensed ambulance operators are eligible for the plates, should the other bill pass. And I just want to note for the committee that I don't know where to what committee that bill would be being referenced, because I don't think it's been printed yet. I don't know if that's something that would come to us or DHHS or HHS. So yeah, I don't, maybe someone else has information on that.
Thank you, Sam. Questions of Sam? No questions from the committee. The sponsor.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Representative Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Hey, there you go. Yep, you come up a little bit delayed, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Since the sponsor of the bill is present, a couple of options here. We could take an up or down vote here on this particular piece of legislation, or as somebody suggested, table it pending and discuss it with the other bill that supposedly is before us. I wonder what your preference would be.
You asking that question of the sponsor, Representative Martin?
Yes.
Representative McDonald, Representative Martin has posed a question. Would you like to respond?
Yes, and thank you for having me. Nice to see everybody again. So that bill has not been released from the revisor's office. I also don't have any idea what committee it will be referenced to, and neither did Director Hurley. So I'm not sure if it will come before HHS or Transportation. My preference at this point would be to table this bill, because once we have a licensing system in place, it will be more easy. be more easily able to define ambulance drivers. And also it will tell us how many ambulance drivers there are. So to BMV's concerns about how many license plates need to be made, this should provide, inform that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative McDonald. It's nice to see you again. You've been with us a lot this year. We
Thank you.
appreciate you being with us. Questions, comments from the committee? Senator Farren.
Yes, I'd make a motion to table.
Motion's made to table by Senator Farren. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, thank you. No, tabling motion is non-debatable. Darlene, would you take us through?
Representative Perry,
Yes.
Representative Williams,
Yes.
Representative Dustin White,
Yes.
Senator Chipman,
Yes.
Senator Farren,
Yes.
Senator Diamond,
Yes.
Representative Danny Martin,
Yes.
Representative Perkins,
Yes.
and Representative Bryan is absent. Representative Bruce White,
Yes.
Representative Tom Martin. Can't hear you, Tom. I'm assuming the thumbs up means yes, but
Gotta have a voice.
I know. We need a voice. Okay, your little red lights come on. Now turn your mic on.
Well, we will,
Okay,
we'll come back to.
we'll come back to him while he figures it out. Representative O'Connell,
Yes.
Representative Seabrook,
Representative
Yes.
Seabrook? Yes.
and Representative Seabrook was a yes.
Yep.
Representative Tom Martin,
Well, Representative Tom Martin, will check in with him later.
okay,
All right, very good. So the number?
is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Tom
One
Martin is there with his mic off and he's
How about
talking.
yes?
I don't know if you're hearing him.
Yes?
We can't hear him.
He just said yes.
He just said yes? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
There
Yes.
we go.
But
Gotcha.
it's like a proof of life video. I only see him from his nose down.
There you go, Representative Tom Martin. We appreciate that. So now, the
Now it's 12 with one absent.
motion to table was passed unanimously of those who were present. We'll now take our next to the last bill, which is LD 128, an act to authorize the Commissioner of Transportation to enter into agreements with the United States Department of Transportation, presented by Senator Diamond of Cumberland. Sam.
Thanks, Senator Diamond. All right, bear with me on the summary on this one. So this bill allows the Commissioner of Transportation to enter into agreements and cooperate with the United States Department of Transportation as provided in 23 United States Code sections 325 to 327, and as authorized under the Federal Moving Ahead for Progress in the 21st Century Act, the Federal Safe, Accountable, Flexible, Efficient Transportation Equity Act, a legacy for users, and the Federal National Environmental Policy Act of 1969. It allows the Commissioner to adopt rules to implement an agreement, carry out duties under an agreement, and make expenditures in connection with an agreement consistent with 23 United States Code sections 326 and 327. It provides for a partial waiver of immunity from civil suit in federal court regarding the compliance, discharge, or enforcement of a responsibility assumed by the Department of Transportation upon the department's entering an agreement. So kind of the short summary of this is for department projects that are required to follow the Federal National Environmental Policy Act process. This would allow the Maine DOT to enter an agreement with US DOT to designate Maine DOT as the lead agency. So they would take up the responsibilities of following through with the National Environmental Policy Act. The department provided a lot of explanation in their testimony in support of the bill. And there were no opponents who testified at the hearing, but we did receive written testimony against the bill from Ken Capron, which is summarized in the testimony portion. There was a lot said here in the testimony from the department. I don't know if you want me to go through and summarize it, or if you want to wait to hear from the department a little more about that.
Well, the department's going to speak anyway, Sam, so.
Okay.
Save a little time maybe.
Okay, great. And so the two things I wanted to note for the committee on this bill is that this bill does indeed provide for a partial waiver of state immunity from civil suit in federal court for the purposes of compliance, discharge, or enforcement of the responsibility assumed by the department upon entering into this agreement with the federal government. And so basically that means that where the federal government may have or could have been sued for the way they complied with the NEPA requirements before, this would make the Department of Transportation the agency that would be sued for disputed compliance now. And I did attach to this bill analysis some fiscal impact information provided by the Attorney General's office. And they noted that this bill, should it pass, would likely require the work of one assistant attorney general position. And they said the personnel services are derived from the average projected costs of OACS financial warehouse. Well, all other cost projections. Sorry, I have trouble understanding the language in here. Perhaps someone else will be able to explain it better. But anyways, you can see the projected costs for fiscal years 2020 to 2021, 2021 to 2022, and 2022 to 2023. And I believe these are the numbers they provided provided OFPR. So these are the numbers that I think will be reflected when the official fiscal note comes out for the committee.
Thank you, Sam. Questions of Sam before we bring the department back in? Representative Perry?
No, I'll wait.
Okay. Could we ask DOT, maybe Megan Russo?
Nina's here.
Who is?
Nina.
Nina. Okay, Nina. Yes. Welcome, Nina, Deputy Commissioner.
Thank you, Senator Diamond. Can you folks hear me okay?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, good. I'm trying out a new mic just to make sure everything goes well. I am Nina Fisher. I'm Deputy Commissioner for the Maine Department of Transportation. I don't know if the committee has specific questions. I know there were none raised at the public hearing. We're here to answer any you may have. I don't know if Sam summarized it excellently. The whole purpose behind this is these are the first 3 steps that have to occur in order for the federal government to enter into an agreement with us to allow us to take on this added responsibility. And this is really somewhat of like the first of the housekeeping steps through this process.
So regarding the added 1 AG position, is that a highway fund expenditure?
We haven't seen that fiscal note, and I have not seen that breakdown from the Attorney General's office. I would say we'd probably dispute that. We don't anticipate this adding any burden in that sense. We of these projects, we do 1.5 per average a year that rise to this level where we would be exercising our NEPA assignment responsibilities. To automatically assume that we're going to be sued in every one, and therefore we require representation from the Attorney General's office, I think might be a bit of a stretch. But again, we would be happy to work with the Attorney General's office to mitigate that. We are somewhat unique as an agency because of the amount of property law that we do. We do have our own attorney that serves at the pleasure of the commissioner, and our own legal office that deals with property issues primarily. And I know that he has been working extensively with the Attorney General's office through this entire bill process. So they know, obviously they know it's coming. They've reached out to Suzanne, and we hope to work with them to mitigate any concerns about the addition of another position.
Thank you. Representative Perry.
Yeah, just real quick. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nina, I guess my question is, why do we want to be on the hook for a liability?
We are anyway, Representative. So to give you a case, for example, the Frank J. Wood Bridge right in Topsom, All that this would do is we would be sued quicker. We're already named a party when Federal Highway is sued. So even though you can't, we do have sovereign immunity, you can't sue the king. But
Yeah.
whenever you're dealing with a NEPA process project, Federal Highway becomes the lead that they're suing, and we're named as a co-plaintiff. So we're already part of it. It just has to go through added, Frank J. Wood's a good example. We just would have been sued probably 3 years earlier, and we would have had the judgment, which we've had, that was in our favor sooner. Right now, because of this delay, the cost of steel, the cost of construction has gone up considerably, and we're at a 4-year delay at this point.
Okay, no, that's the only thing I was concerned about. It just, as soon as Sam said that, I got nervous.
Oh, so do I. That's yeah. When we have our attorneys sitting here saying, "Oh no, it's fine, it's fine," we would be sued anyway. It's okay. Keep going. That I feel a little more comfortable as well.
Thank you. Representative Williams.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll just throw in a brief comment as someone who has brought numerous NEPA suits and also negotiated a lot with the Army Corps of Engineers, for example. It's way harder dealing with them than dealing with the state. And I've settled things because the state was involved more closely on them. Rather than having to deal with, rather than having a community group or an environmental group having to deal with the feds, there's much more of a chance of a positive settlement for both sides with what Nina is talking about. Thanks.
Thank you, Representative. We appreciate that feedback.
Williams. Yeah, we appreciate that's, as usual, very helpful information from you. Thank you very, very much. Other questions from the committee? Well, we are in a position for a motion if someone has one. Senator Farren.
I will make a motion of ought to pass.
Motion ought to pass and has been seconded. Further discussion. Representative Williams, your hand's still up, or you finished?
Oh, no, sorry.
Motion is made, ought to pass, been seconded. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, Darlene?
Who made the second motion?
There was 2 or 3.
Right,
But
okay.
saying, yeah.
All right, Representative Perry.
Yes.
Representative Williams.
Yes.
Representative Dustin White. He disappeared. Senator Chipman.
No.
Was that a no?
Yes.
Oh, yes, okay. Senator Farren.
Yes.
Senator Diamond.
Yes.
Representative Danny Martin.
Yes.
Representative Perkins.
Yes.
Matt Bryan is absent. Representative Bruce White.
Yes.
Representative Tom Martin.
Affirmative.
Representative O'Connell.
Yes.
Representative Seabrook.
Yes.
Okay.
My voice canceling is not recognizing yes. It's too short.
Okay. 11 in the affirmative and 2 absent.
Thank you very much. So that's the ought to pass motion prevails. Thank you for that. Our last bill is LD 162, which in short summary is the supplemental bill, highway supplemental bill, which will carries us through the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021. It was presented by Representative Martin of Sinclair. And I think we will now invite Ms. Boynick. Suzanne available?
I'm here.
Oh, good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm going to just, you can start. I gotta get my 162.
Okay.
Everything else.
I have a new laptop. I'm gonna attempt to share my screen, but if it doesn't work, I'm gonna go through the document that I sent you yesterday.
Yeah.
So hopefully you all have that, but I'm gonna try to share my screen so we're all on the same page. Oops.
Yeah, if you could reduce the size, that would be
Bring it
great.
down a little bit, that would help.
Reduce the size?
Yeah, just a little, because
Yep.
the numbers on the
There
right.
it is.
There it is.
That looks good.
Is that better?
I still can't, I still cannot see the numbers on the right.
Oh, so then you want me to increase it then?
No, we want you to decrease it.
I mean, like I have to have my pictures on the right so I can see who's asking questions. And that blocks up the
Oh.
right part of this thing.
Yeah.
Decrease the size.
Does that work?
Nope,
What about that?
that's getting better. Now I can see 2021.
Yeah.
Is everybody else
Can
okay?
everybody see that?
Yeah.
Can you see three now? Can everyone see three rows of numbers, 2021, 21, 22, and 22, 23?
No,
No.
No,
one row.
What do you see?
20, I see 2020-21. Which is the first row.
same here.
Actually, that's the only one you need to see. So let's just leave it at that because there's nothing in 22, 23. This is a supplemental budget. So it
Right.
just covers fiscal
Okay.
year 2021.
Okay,
So let's just go with that. Don't worry about the other two columns. I don't even know why they're on here. But that's what.
this isn't a trick by Commissioner Van Note, is it? To get,
No, this is my document. But our computer system spits out weird things sometimes. So I don't know why I have those other two columns.
Okay.
Just ignore them.
no
Keep
problem.
moving along. Nothing to see here.
And that-
Sorry about that. So we're starting with DAFs, and the first program is Buildings and Grounds. And it reduces funding to align with projected actual expenses for fuel costs. And this relates to the curtailments, and it's a $22,500 reduction in 21.
Mr. Chair, I have a housekeeping question.
Yes, Representative Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In regards to the process and the procedure, do you want a vote on each item? For example, vote in, vote out? Is that how we're going to proceed?
Yeah, we should vote on each initiative.
Right.
That way it saves us coming back and it's less
Correct.
confusing.
Yep.
So thank you for that. Yes, questions on the first initiative? Did you finish, Suzanne? Were you, anything else you wanted to add?
For this initiative, I don't have anything else. If you have a question, then I would probably defer to someone in the department that hopefully is on the call.
Any questions on this one? Is there a motion in?
Motion, vote in.
Second?
Second.
Second.
Here's what we're gonna do, folks. We're gonna do a formal vote at the end. So we just want to make sure we don't have to come back, or if we do have to come back, we note it for somebody wants further information. So when we're doing these, we won't do like the roll call on each one of these. We'll just do the kind of informal thing. And I'll rely on you telling me if you don't agree with something that's been moved in, you will speak up, because I can't see the hands on the side anymore.
Senator Diamond,
Yes, Representative Perry.
would it be easiest going through this to maybe have Representative Martin move them in? And then if we have a problem with one of them, just speak up and say that.
You know,
Yeah,
Representative Perry, that is an excellent idea.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest as well.
Yep.
I'll make the motion, vote in. If there's an objection, then we can discuss it.
That's a good point. Thank you
Alright.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Perry. So a motion is in by Representative Martin. Hearing no objection, please continue.
Okay, so just to bring something up, I probably shouldn't even bother, but anyway, I'll add more confusion. If you don't want me to share the screen, I don't have to. I can just read these. I have the printed document in front of me.
Does everybody, let me ask this, Suzanne, does everybody, committee members, you all have your budgets in front of you, and do you need to have the screen? Anybody need it?
Nope.
Don't see anybody that needs
Okay.
it.
The only thing I was concerned about is that some people at the public hearing had the wrong document.
Right.
And they're in different,
Yeah.
and they're in different, they're in a different order. So I just wanted to make sure, but I can stop if that makes it easier for you.
No, I think everybody finally, myself included, we got on board.
You're all on the same
Senator
page
Diamond was the
now?
one we had trouble with.
I only sent it to you about 5 times.
No, I usually like 6, but so, go ahead. We're all set.
I'll remember
Take
that
this
for
off.
next time.
All right.
The departments were all on the same page.
Yes, I know.
All right, so do we-
Anyway, so I'm going to stop sharing.
Great,
Good.
thank you.
Okay,
There we
here we
go.
go. We've done the first initiative. We're on the second.
All done. Moving on. The next one reduces funding by managing materials and supplies expenses within available resources. And this is also relates to the curtailments. And this is an $18,000 reduction in 21.
Questions?
Move in. No, we will.
I just want to make sure there's any
Mr.
questions.
Chair,
Move in.
to be with you. Then if anybody objects, then we can discuss that. Is that okay?
I had a little hand here, so I thought there was a question, but I'm on board with you.
Yeah, Suzanne, if you could, when you do your initiatives, if you can mention reference number, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
The next one is reference number 8.
Well, we want to make sure, did you move?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Make sure, because I was talking when you made that motion, make sure everybody heard it. Motion in.
Yeah, yes, thank you. Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
So
Awesome.
next is reference number 8, reduces funding by deferring planned maintenance of buildings and grounds. And again, that is relates to the curtailments.
Move in.
Okay.
Reference number 9, reduces funding to align with projected actual expenses for electricity. And this again relates to the curtailments.
Move in.
So on the next page, this is under the Bureau of Revenue Services, reduces funding by allocating position costs from the highway fund to the general fund to better reflect actual work percentages. And it relates to curtailments, and that is a reduction of $53,257.
Move in.
Okay. And now we're moving on to page 3, Municipal Bond Bank, Transcap Trust Fund, reference 12, recognizes revenue changes approved by the Revenue Forecasting Committee for their report in December. And this is in other special revenue funds, increase in allocation of $599,823. And that's just based on the revenue forecast.
Thank you. Move in.
Okay, next on the next page, we have public safety, motor vehicle inspection, reduces funding by using coronavirus relief funds to support public health and public safety, personal services cost, identified as an allowable use by guidance from the United States Department of the Treasury. And this is a $71,651 reduction in highway fund dollars because those federal funds were used instead.
Move in.
Next is state police, and this basically just is the same initiative as above. Reduces funding by using coronavirus relief funds instead of highway fund dollars. It's a $6,393 and $340 highway fund reduction.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not every day that we get to vote on a $6 million cut or curtailment. Move in.
Well, unfortunately, it's only one time.
I know.
Anyway, but it still is nice to see. Next is traffic safety. Reduces funding again by using coronavirus relief funds instead of highway fund dollars. And this is a reduction of $490,021.
Move in.
Next is traffic safety, commercial vehicle enforcement. Reduces funding again by using federal relief funds instead of highway fund dollars. And this is a reduction of $2,100,945.
That then was reference 21.
Oh, yes, reference 21, and the dollars were on the following page.
Thank you. Move in.
Okay. Now moving on to the Secretary of State on page 6, reference 24, reduces funding one time to reflect projected actual expenses for contracted information technology services from hardware and software, and this relates to curtailments. $121,000 saving. $120,000.
Thank you. Move in.
Okay, next is reference 25. Reduces funding one time by managing one vacant staff development specialist 4 position until April of 21 and relates to curtailments. It's 61,826 savings in 21.
Move in.
Reduces funding one time by managing, reference 26, sorry. Reduces funding one time by managing miscellaneous professionals, fees and services expenses within available resources. And this is a curtailment. It's a reduction of 13,632.
Move in.
Okay. Next, we have reference 27. Reduces funding one time to reflect projected actual expenses for out-of-state travel. And this is a reduction of 4,542.
Move in.
Okay. Next is Department of Transportation. The first one on page 8 is reference 38. Reduces funding by managing the equivalent of 6 position vacancies within available resources and relates to the curtailments. It's a reduction of $381,610.
Move in.
And then we have reference 42, reduces funding by managing the equivalent of 45% of 36 position vacancies within available resources, relates to the curtailments. It's a reduction of $991,553.
Move in. Suzanne, I have a question. At some point in time here, I think it's on the next page, but I'm not sure. There's going to be a couple of recommendations that we move out.
Yeah.
I believe MDOT has
come
a
out next.
proposed amendment that may take care of some concerns. Is that correct?
They have presented a proposal for your consideration. So I'll have them go through that.
And
We can-
maybe
we get to that, we'll
Nina,
just-
if I may, Mr. Chair, Nina, point that out on the reference number when that comes up. Thank you.
Wait, Representative Perry has a question.
Yeah, just real quick, those are the next two ones coming.
All right.
Reference 43 and 47 coming right up.
Good, thank you, Representative Perry. Very nice, well done. Okay, Suzanne.
So have you, I don't know, did you
Yes.
We
made a motion on this one? Okay.
Have we talked about 42?
Yes, we did 42.
Yeah.
Right, and we voted on it? We did.
Did we
did
vote?
I'm not sure.
I don't think we moved that one in, but move in.
Moving in. Okay.
Yeah, you did. That's all right. No problem.
So the next one is Highway and Bridge Capital, reference 43. Provides state funding for Highway and Bridge Capital of 2.5 million. And this is one of the ones that the commissioner's testimony suggested to move out.
So
for the
move-
reasons he
move
spoke.
out.
Motion is move out. I just want to make sure that everybody have that amendment that was put through. I think the department distributed it. Just make sure everybody has. Okay, thank you.
The next one is Highway Light Capital. Provides funding for Highway Light Capital Program for light capital paving of 6.5 million. And this is another one that the commissioner recommended to move out.
And that was reference number 47. move
Reference
out.
47, yes, sorry.
Out.
Representative Perry.
Yeah, just real quick. I believe the commissioner on these talked about both of these is corresponding expenditures coming up in the biennial budget. So that's why he didn't have a problem moving these basically from here to there.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I can defer to Nina, but I think there's a transfer to TransCap to cover debt service, and I don't think it was enough in the biennial budget. So
Karen Doyle, Ms. Doyle, you want to contribute?
Yes, I can explain a little bit. So the reference number 43 that you're on in Highway and Bridge Capital for 2.5 million was what the commissioner asked in his testimony to have that be voted out in order for there to be a balance available at the end of 21 to be used in the 22-23 biennium. So yes, even though it is not something DOT would traditionally do, we would ask you to move this funding out.
That's very helpful. Thank you. Questions of Karen? Okay, thank you very much. We're all set, Suzanne.
So Representative Martin, I believe on reference 47, you made a motion for that.
Yes,
You
43.
did. Okay, okay.
47.
And
moved.
I'll move on to local road assistance. The first one is reference 35, reduces funding to municipalities for maintenance or improvement of public roads in order to meet the requirements in the statute to be funded at 9% of Maine DOT highway allocation. Relates to the curtailments. It's a reduction of $1,066,382.
Move in.
Reference 36, this adjusts funding for local road assistance to the correct apportioned rate in regards to the statute of $1,473,273. And this is the last one that the commissioner recommended to move out based on the other outs.
Thank you. Again, for the record, that was reference 36, move out.
Now we're on maintenance and operations, reference number 30, reduces funding by deferring the planned purchase of heavy trucks in the fleet services program, relates to the curtailments, and it's a reduction of $2 million.
Move in.
Okay, the next one is reference 31, reduces funding by managing payments to fleet services within available resources, relates to the curtailments, and the numbers are on the next page, which is a reduction of 1.7 million.
Move in.
Reduced, reference 32, reduces funding by deferring planned payments to the facility fund program, for maintenance of DOT facilities, and this relates to the curtailments, a reduction of 500,000.
Move in.
Reference 33, reduces funding by managing small equipment purchases within available resources, and it relates to the curtailments, $300,000 reduction.
Move in.
Next, we have multimodal freight rail, reference 40, reduces funding by allocating highway fund multimodal freight rail support to allowable other special revenue sources, relates to the curtailments. This is a reduction of $603,599.
Move in.
Next, we have multimodal island ferry service, reference 45, reduces funding by allocating highway fund multimodal island ferry service support to allowable OSR sources, relates to the curtailments, and it is a reduction of $6,091,588.
Move in.
And that is all of the initiatives. There are some language, but I may actually just at this point, before I go through the language, maybe I'll ask DOT if they want to go through the proposed amendment that they submitted to the committee yesterday. Is this a good time to do that?
That would be a good time. Thank you. Would that be Nina Fisher, or would that be somebody else?
That would be me, Karen.
All right, Karen Doyle, thank you.
So I believe you all should have received an email. It says possible amendment with two different initiatives, kind of looks like this.
Right.
The first initiative is for the Highway and Bridge Capital Program. They're both the same, allotting federal funds. This is from the CRESA Act that was signed on December 27th. You might have seen some media reports about 46 million coming for highways and bridges. And so we would like the ability to spend some of that now before July 1st. So we're asking for an allocation in the federal account of 15 million for highway and bridge capital, and then 6 million for highway light capital. We have received preliminary guidance. We're still waiting on final guidance from the feds, but we believe we will be able to use this very flexibly so that we can use it for light capital paving. So that does help offset some of the reductions that you just voted on in the previous accounts. So we would ask you to include those as well.
Thank you for that, because otherwise we would have to, excuse me, might have had to wait for days, maybe weeks before we could make any final decisions on this. So I appreciate you taking this action, and so we can share it with the committee and get the committee to react. Thank you. Questions of Ms. Doyle from the committee, because we this is something that is a little bit out of sequence of what we have with our works, with our public hearing. Questions? Yes, Representative Danny Martin.
Yeah, not a question, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Would it be now proper to move in the proposed 2 amendments?
Yes, it would. That would be appropriate.
Move.
Second, if that's needed.
Suzanne, thank you. So we have now Suzanne language.
Yes, we have a couple pieces of language. So on page 13 of the document is part C, transfer of funds for bond interest. Notwithstanding any provision of law, the state controllers shall transfer $70,109 by the end of June 21 from bond interest highway fund account to the Department of Department of Transportation to the unappropriated surplus of the general fund, of the highway fund, excuse me.
Representative Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. If I may, so part C is the language and the summary that you just suggested, Suzanne. That's not new. That's in the current bill, correct?
This is in the bill, yes.
Okay.
This is not new.
Right. Yeah. Move in part C.
Thank you. Others, other language?
Yes, I'm missing something.
We have part D, Secretary of State.
I was going to say, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if I may.
Oh, here it is.
I also received an email from Secretary of State's office regarding a proposed amendment. Is that before us or?
Yes, I was going to defer to them when we get to the language piece, because I think it has to do with their part D that they're making some changes to. So I thought they could go through that when we get there.
All right.
So I missed part B, I'm sorry. On page 12, part B, transfer funds, local road assistance, notwithstanding any other provisions of the law, the state controls shall transfer $21,712,948 by June 30th from the unencumbered balance of the local road assistance program highway fund account in DOT to the unappropriated surplus of the highway fund. And I can let Karen explain this more if you would like to.
I think you will, Ms. Doyle, just to make sure everybody has full understanding.
Sure. So this is the 21 million for local road assistance in the highway fund. As we briefed the previous committee, the 129th, back in June, when the coronavirus first hit, traffic plummeted. So highway fund revenues tanked. We knew there was going to be a problem. And so we utilized the bond funds that were available to pay this $21 million so that there would be a highway fund allocation for you to transfer to the unallocated surplus. So we anticipated the revenue drop. And so this money is sitting there available, but the municipalities all received the checks that they were intending to receive. So municipalities did not feel the effect of this. It was just basically the state used bond funds as opposed to highway funds to make those payments last year. So this money is sitting there right now available to be transferred to the unappropriated surplus, which is what's necessary in order to balance through June 30th.
That's appreciate that's a good explanation. Are there questions of Ms. Doyle on this piece? Okay, yes, Representative Danny Martin, go ahead.
Not a question.
I know, you're ready to go.
Unless there are questions, I would move part B language in.
Yep. Thank you. Suzanne?
And then the final piece of language, the final piece of the budget overall is part D, which is a carrying provision in the Department of Secretary of State. And I believe the information they provided yesterday, their proposal for an amendment ties in with this language. So I'm going to kind of defer to someone. I don't know if the secretary is here or who might be
Yes,
here.
is it Madam Secretary or a designee from the Secretary of State's office?
Hi there. Yes,
Oh,
I'm
there she
here,
is.
and I believe Dave LaChance is with us as well. We had heard at the public hearing a preference for initiative language as opposed to carry forward language. In my testimony, I shared that there were increased costs assessed to the Secretary's office from the state cap. of $984,645, which you see in the first part of initiative language that we proposed. And then in the second part, I discussed modernization of our driver's license and vehicle service systems and our desire to begin work to look at technology modernization and to use unexpended balances for those purposes. And that's what's reflected in this piece.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Questions on this one, because this is an added piece? No questions. Representative Wayne Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I had a long conversation with Secretary Bellows this morning because this was an issue that I've had ongoing for a while with the previous Secretary of State on this amount of money getting spent somewhat regularly now, let's put it that way. And I just feel that although I understand the need, I also understand the need for our roads. And this is one thing that you know, for the newer members, every time we spend money, it's dollars that does not get spent on a road or bridge. So I understand the need for this, and I understand we need to you know, upgrade the title system and the, you know, a lot of things, you know, technology wise, but I always have a concern, you know, that something this important to me, I don't know why it wasn't in the regular budget if it was that important. And because I always, you know, like to see any money that's left over go on our capital account. And just for everyone's, you know, knowledge, this is 2.9 million not going into our capital account. But I do understand the need for this, and so I won't jump up and down too hard. But you know, I just want to let everybody know that, you know, we spent 10,000 earlier on some trail stuff, and we're spending on this, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of more bills come forward that we spend money on. And as I said, that's money that does not get spent on a road. So, you know, when people complain about the roads out in front of their house and in their districts, remember all the spending that we're not doing that I really, you know, wish we should. And I'm really hoping in the future that this stuff is put into the regular budget. It's not put, you know, into a supplemental like this. And, you know, any balances left over, I want to see, you know, and I would hope the rest of the committee wants to see this money going into our capital account, because I think it's really important. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Perry. Appreciate those comments and appreciate you always watching out for the budget. Senator Farren.
Thank you, Senator Diamond. I just wanted to recognize Representative Perry, that duly noted. I know where he's coming from on that piece. I also want to say thank you to Madam Secretary for reaching out and having a conversation, because I think the underlying factor folks that realize on this is we had a number of bills last session that dealt with this electronic titling and some of the problems with abandoned vehicles and a bunch of, and this is a huge undertaking. And I talked to the secretary, and I think we are going to see those things, Representative Perry, that you talked about as far as a plan and how we go forward. And this is the seed money. And I know it takes away from roads and bridges to get that plan going forward, so we have something that we can work on. So I just want to thank everybody working towards that.
Thank you, Senator Farren, for that. Also, I would add to what Senator Farren said, in that everybody seemed to reach out to anybody who had questions. Madam Secretary, thank you for doing that. I think that makes a big difference, because the concerns you hear here and elsewhere, sure, are very sincere, especially when it comes to the budget. So you did a lot of extra time on this, and thank you for that. And thanks for everybody else working hard on it. Other questions of the Secretary? Representative Martin, Danny Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Housekeeping question to our Secretary of State. Good afternoon, Secretary Bellows. So my understanding pending a motion here, we're to disregard Part D language that's contained in the budget. And in lieu of that, take your one-page amendment, which includes new language in the bottom part of the page. Is that correct?
That's right. And I want to thank Director Dave LaChance, who's with us, and the State Budget Office for working through that language because I really respected the feedback that I received in the public hearing about initiative language.
So the amendment is replacing, Representative Martin, the amendment, excuse me, is replacing the printed budget Part D as we originally had it.
Correct, and including the $1.9 million item that's contained.
Exactly.
So unless there are additional questions, Mr. Chair, I would move in the new language contained in Part D, which is in the bottom part of your one-page amendment, including the one item initiative, which is $1,919,990, and that would be in the form of move-in motion.
Move in, thank you. Representative Perry, you had a question.
Yeah, it's also, I believe, the state cap money that has to be done is part of that.
Yes.
Okay. You just said the one initiative, so I get nervous.
I stand corrected. You're absolutely right. Thank you.
Very good.
So that covers the two allocations. I'm sorry, that covers the two allocations plus the new language, replacing Part D with this current language, correct?
That was the in motion based on the amendment passed to us. So we covered that. All right. Any other questions? Any further questions from the committee on this? All right. Was that our last language piece?
That's it. And that's all I have for the budget. So the only other thing is a final vote.
Okay. Questions overall, comments overall about LD 162 from any members of the committee? Any information needed? Seeing none, we're ready for a motion. Representative Danny Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I move in LD 162 as amended.
To be ought not to pass as amended?
Ought to pass.
Excuse me, ought to pass.
You just made the second. You just made some folks have a heart attack, Senator Diamond.
Sorry, Madam Secretary. I didn't mean
Ought to pass as amended.
Ought to pass as amended.
Right.
I'll second that motion.
And Senator Farren seconds it. Any further discussion on this LD 162 and the motion ought to pass as amended? Seeing none, we're all set for you, Darlene.
Okay, I've got a couple people that I'm not sure if they're still here, but they need to turn their screens on. Okay, Representative Perry.
Yes, it's
Yes.
Representative Williams.
Yes.
Representative Dustin White. Don't see him. Senator Chipman. Don't see him either. Senator Farren.
Yes.
Senator Diamond.
Yes.
Representative Danny Martin.
Yes.
Representative Perkins.
Yes.
Representative Mark Bryan's absent. Representative Bruce White.
Yes.
Representative Tom Martin.
affirmative.
Representative O'Connell
Yes.
and Representative Seabra.
Yes.
A little more enthusiasm.
I have 10 in the affirmative and 3 absent.
Motion ought to pass as amended, passes 10-3, prevails. Next, anything else we have today? You guys did a great job today. Thank you. We went through 7 bills, actually. Some of them really required some thorough discussion, so really appreciate all you've done. Senator Farren, yes.
Yes, Senator Diamond, I just, my mind kind of wanders off from things. As a kid, we had the swear jar where you put money in every time you get caught. I think that we ought to start a transportation fund for every time Darlene has to say, turn your cameras on or turn your mics on. The offenders have to put money in, and that can either pay for markers on the Lafayette Trail or for the roads and bridges for Representative Perry that we're taking out of. So just something to bounce around.
There we go.
We're going to appoint you as a sergeant of arms. Senator.
Oh, there we go.
We need something like that.
And the fee ought to be $5 dedicated to the coffee pot.
And Representative Danny Martin, thank you for getting us going on that great procedure, which was one we've used in the past, but I neglected to even think of it. So I appreciate you coming in and helping us smooth this thing out. Well done.
Great committee.
We just want to talk about, it looks like we're going to be going back into session in Augusta on the 10 and 11 March. And as you know, we meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so we'll probably not have any of our committee meetings on that Tuesday and Thursday. But we're going so well that we will hardly even notice the blip, and we'll get right back in it afterwards. So we obviously have Thursday, we have public hearings, and then next week we'll have some work sessions. So again, House Chair Martin, anything else you want to add?
No, thank you. I think you did a great job, Mr. Chair.
Well, thank you very much. And Senator Farren, Representative Perkins, we appreciate your help on all of this too, as leads. So I guess we're set to leave. And Representative Martin, Tom Martin, if you need any funding for the kitty that we're now going to establish, you just let me know. We'll make it happen.
Appreciate that.
Senator Diamond, you said we're going into session the 10th and 11th?
That's the word, 10 and 11, yes.
So that's what, a Tuesday and a Wednesday and a Thursday?
Wednesday and a Thursday, and then House Chair Martin has to travel, takes him 16 hours to get down here from Sinclair, so he'll be leaving
Almost.
Tuesday, so.
Okay, yeah.
We, Senator Diamond, the House members have not yet been officially notified that it's going to be the 10th and 11th, but it appears that that's going to be the case.
Well, you just check in with the Senate. We'll tell you what's going on.
All right.
I think some people were asked to look at those dates though and maybe block them out. Just in
You're talking about the lower body?
If the majority in the House hasn't heard, we really haven't heard.
Well, we'll try to get the message down to you guys sooner than
I believe it'll be made official at our, yeah.
If anybody asks, we'll say Senator Diamond said that we're going in.
Right. Thanks, everybody.
Right.
Just a
Great
minute.
job. Well done.
Is everybody
Yeah.
working from home today?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Good question. Yeah. Thanks, Suzanne.
What did you mean working from home?
Wow, as in not in the State House.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, well, because if you're here,
Yeah.
you need to let me know because they check.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they double check and make sure that you were really in the building,
Oh, I see.
so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can get your expense money.
Now, so they're really thinking maybe the 10th and 11th in that area somewhere to start?
First I hear of it.
Oh, all right.
I did hear something about March, but never any dates.
Oh, interesting. Well,
as
maybe
far
we'll
as-
hear it tonight. She has her state of the state speech tonight, right?
The governor?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't it tonight?
Could be.
So you're not going to stay up for it, I take it.
I'm not going to answer that. No, I will probably watch it if it's really on.
I thought I heard it on the
But
radio.
then again, sometimes, we eat dinner and then we lay on the couch and throw that red blanket on. That's it. Kiss of death.
I hear you. All right. Have a good evening.
All right. You too. Bye.